Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks for joining me today. It's Monday, so we're going to have some mindful time together. So I hope you've got a nice brew and you're sitting comfortably. Now today we're going to add a piece to our journal, but I thought I'd so last Tuesday we had a play with our gel press and created a couple of really nice but basic backgrounds, and I just think it's important to show you how we can use those, because the one thing we tend to do as crafters, well I do, I don't know about you, I have a session of making backgrounds. I make a lot, I keep them, because I think as crafters we keep things. We are collectors. We're not just crafters, we are collectors. And I collect them, so it's important to actually use them. Also, when we were cleaning our Billy Brayer, this was the piece of card. So I'm going to see if I can use that in my journal. Fingers crossed, I've got a plan, but we shall see. Now, what I have done is and I'm using the larger journal today. I will be doing some work with the smaller one, so don't worry if you've got a smaller one. Oh, one thing I do need to show you, the design we did last week. Where is it? I added something when I'd finished. Oh, it'd be good if I planned this ahead, wouldn't it? Got so many pages in here. Maybe it's further here. I really need to edit these bits out, don't I? Oh, there it is, right at the front. So all of those that were shouting then at me, Jo, it's at the front. So after I'd finished last week, do you remember I said I wasn't quite happy, but I didn't know what? So I walked away, had my coffee, then I came back and added these beautiful hanging stars. And for me, it just finishes off the whole design. But like I said at the time, it's important, if you're not sure how something's going, walk away. Like I say, I left it and I was a little bit unhappy. But once I'd added those, I thought, do you know what? That's perfect. That's exactly what it needed. So, be kind to yourself. That is something that you can do. So, sorry, but I just needed to remember to tell you that. Now, what I'm going to do today, the pages I'm going to work on are these. And it's important I show you this. So when I did my brusho work in my cardi journal, the rough paper, and this is the rough one, and I will be doing a little video explaining the differences between the rough and the smooth. That is on my list. So the rough one here, I added fabulous brushos, lots of water. Now it does slightly come through, but this isn't a problem. So for me, I'm going to use this as part of my design. So if that happens in your journal, don't worry, leave that page. And then I'm a big believer that when the time's right, you'll suddenly have a plan and think, that's the perfect page to use. And what did it for me is when I looked at the colours and I thought I've gone blues, greens, I can tie that in with here, blue and green. So what I've actually done ahead of time, just so that we can work on this piece, what I've done is I've taken one of the gel press prints that we made, and all I've done is I've added the beautiful dragon verse, a couple of our crows, one crow, lovely dragon, and the branch stamp. And my idea is I'm going to pop this here. I'm thinking of doing some stencil work, but we'll come back to that. So I'm thinking I'm going to work on this piece, add that to that side, tie the whole thing together with some stencil work, and again, look at that, lovely. So don't think you gel press, you have to make a full scene. It's nice to just add a verse. Now, I've put this on white card because it didn't show up. I've got to be honest, I did stamp it on the background first, but it didn't show up. It's always worth doing, because if you're not happy with it, you can just decoupage a piece of card over the top. So I'm going to put that up there just so I can see that. And let's work on this piece. So first of all, I'm going to tear it just because I want to trim it down a bit. And I'm thinking rather than cut it, let's just do a little bit. And I'm tearing it towards me so I get this nice white edge. So we'll get rid of that. And I have got a bin. When you see me throwing things, I'm not throwing it on the floor. I have got a bin here. Oh, I like that. That's a bit of an extra. That double. And Eric is to my left, so don't worry, I'm not showering him in card on the right. So possibly what about there, do you think? And again, I'm tearing towards me each time because I want this lovely edge. So that's looking, so maybe about here. Just actually where that edge comes. I think we could, right, just a bit too much of that there. So we'll come back. Well, it almost looks like a piece of parchment, doesn't it, from an old... I like that. I may leave that white. I may come back and add some colour there. I'm not sure. Right. So what we'll do is we'll just move the journal out of the way, and I'm filing it on the floor. And if you're anything like me, everything gets filed on the floor, doesn't it? And let's see what we've got here. Roll my sleeves up ready. Now I've got a few stamps out I'm fancying using. I don't know about you, but I find that the best thing to do. May not use them all, but I really fancy using this Dragonstone Castle. And I want to use a couple of dragons, but I'm thinking, do we put that side? Maybe, and put them flying this way. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So it's always good to have an idea. Use your acetate, but I'm thinking these hills here be perfect. That's too high, so maybe pop it on that hill there. Yeah. Right, let's find a block. So how have you been keeping? I hope you're okay. I hope things are going well. Now I'm being mindful not to put my block. I used to rest on my work, and the trouble is if you've got ink on your block and you haven't noticed, I'm really trying hard to minimise those inky marks we get. Don't know about you. And I think if I get in good practices, good habits, then when I do one of these clean and simple designs, I've not as much chance of getting those black marks. Now let's have this. There. We're going this hill here. I'm thinking because we're coming up to sort of, you know, end of October, that Halloween sort of time, I'm thinking I've got some lovely sort of pretty things in my journal, and I want it to be quite diverse. So I just thought this would tie in lovely with all these sorts of, and again, I like to use different stamps. Oh, that's so lovely. I don't know about you, but I found recently, if I'm not careful, I have favourites, and I really shouldn't. So I'm trying hard. So this is a perfect opportunity to come in with a couple of stamps I haven't used for a while. Now we'll come in with these. I think this is the dragon set, and there's two. And I've just caught my block, so I just want to... Could have this one just off the page there, actually. Oh, just catch his tail. And then let's have the other one. This one really looks like he's zooming. This one, I think he's flying at 100 miles an hour, this one. And as I say, it ties in lovely with the dragon verse. I just caught the edge there. So should we have him? No, flying the opposite way. Oh dear, if you can hear beeping, my dishwasher's just switched off, so I do apologise if you've heard that. Try to have it so quietly, and you guarantee there's going to be some sort of noise, isn't there? It's always the way. Right, I love the way that's building up. Now, could do with some sort of florals here, but obviously I don't want florals. I want it to look quite spooky. So let me have a look. What have I got? I'm thinking the bramble. Now, I love this stamp. Great for masculine cards. But I also think it almost looks a bit spooky. And I'm stamping in black in the Nocturne. And I'm thinking if I put quite a tall stamp there, I'm thinking about the whole balance and the shape. And depending how the stamping looks on the white, I could have masked that off, but I'm just going to stamp across it. As I say, I may blend some ink round the edge. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how we're going. Now, I just want to put a clump of that there because I've got a stamp, a new stamp I've not used before. I went to the shop, Lavinia at Ruthin, and where is it? I got myself, because, you know, we don't have all the stamps, do we? Well, I certainly don't, and there's always ones that I haven't. Now, this one, it's called the Zen Rose, and it's new for me. I'm sure a lot of you will already have it, and I thought that almost looks a bit spooky, so I'm going to introduce that. Just because it's new and it feels it's not been used. Now, with new stamps, you don't need to prime them. These are fabulous quality stamps. But for me personally, I always like to just stamp it out on my copy of paper first. Almost just gets that stamp used to being inked up. I mean, it's stamped beautifully. But if I'd missed a bit inking it up, or, you know, I feel that at least if I stamp it out first. But as I say, you don't necessarily need to. That's just something I like to do. And we'll do some first and second generation with this. I love this. And I think it's perfect. It goes along. Although the sort of flowers, they're almost some sort of, I don't know, mysterious magical flowers, if you know what I mean. Maybe just put a couple up the side here. Oh, that looks like yeah, I like that. I'm not going to put anything coming down. I think that will be too much. I'm going to be using that stamp a lot. Let's turn that over, give it a blot. Yeah, I'm going to call that a day with my stamping. And we'll just add, we've got a circle mask. Now, shall we go really big? Just because, do you know what? It's Halloween, it's that type. Now, we could spotlight him. I might do that. Yes, you see, I don't like that. Just spend a bit of time thinking that to me is too close to there. So it's either got to go there following that shape, actually, or there. Oh, I like that. There's just something, I'm going for that. I don't know why, for me, I like that. And I'll come in with the Blue Lagoon, which is the colour we used on our gel press, just to keep it all tone on tone. And I'll start at the bottom on the mask, always on the mask, and just flick at the bottom. And again, I want it darker at the bottom, so that'll give me an idea of how much colour. I think I just want a bit more. Let's lift that up. Oh yeah, we can go a bit deeper. I want it quite moody. I nearly said like me at the minute, but there again, Carl might agree with that. Yeah, I like that. That just really pops, doesn't it? I'm just going to give this a wipe because obviously my Elements inks, really juicy, high pigment. So I want to put that away clean. Right, I love that. I'm thinking I am going to add a bit round the edge, you know. I'm just going to blend. I want to see if I can leave a little bit of white. So just see with my brush if I can catch that edge, but almost leave, you know, a white border. And again, with your brushes, they're ideal for this. Just catching that torn edge. And catch it along the bottom. And that's why it's important. Your VersaFine Claire's a slower drying ink, so we blotted it so we won't smudge it. Just catch up this edge here. A little bit more. Right, and I'm just going to wipe this, or you know me, I'll get that everywhere. Right, let's have a look. Oh, you see, I love that. Just going to bring my, where's my pastel pencils? And I've put them on top of my kitchen towel, there we go. And I just want to add a little bit of highlight just on his wing. I don't want to add too much. Maybe just a bit on his tummy. And let's add some and again it's my chalk pastel pencil, so I'm just going to smooth it with my fingers. It just blends it in, helps to fix it, but also I think it gives a better look. And just come out a little into that blue. And a little tip, if you've got any lines, you know, when you've been blending round with your sponge that you didn't want, or your brush, just put your pastel pencil, look, and it'll help get rid of them. Just like that, look. So forgiving. And people think you've put that there on purpose. Add another one, look. And they'll go, oh, that's nice. Little do they know it was hiding a mark. So we'll add a little bit of just I think it just shapes them a bit more. Little on his tummy. And he's flying so fast. We'll give him a couple of little, and then it looks like he's really flying fast. Now we need a bit of something under there, don't we? So let's just add a little bit of the black. And again, just smudge it with my finger. Just so it looks like it's not floating. Our castle, there we go, and just put it over there. We can almost just make a bit of a, just make it look like it's part of the, I mean, it doesn't take a lot, does it? But for me, I think that just, I want to make it look like there's somebody in the castle. So if I get my gel pens, I think we'll have a blue door. And I know those who have a certain age like me will be going, isn't it? Who's that knocking at the green door? Probably not even allowed to say that, am I? That comes to my mind. Mind you, it is a bit worrying, the things that come to my mind. I was thinking we'll have a door, we'll have a bit of highlight. Now, let's have some yellow for these windows, a bit of goldy yellow, so it looks like there's somebody in. Eric, mate, don't start dreaming when I'm recording, please. I think he always likes to just be part of this, you know. Bless him. As soon as I'm going to record, he seems to know, and he loves to come in and just sit under my table. But he's literally right under my feet. So those of you that have got dogs will know what I mean. They do have a way of just being able to come and get right under your feet. I'm just going to add a little bit of blue to some of these flowers. I don't want to overcolour them because I actually like them just sort of blending in. But I'm just, some of them, look, I'm just going to put a bit of a circle. I like that. I don't want it to be too sort of in your face. I'm just with the gold going to catch a couple of these. Again, not all of them. Maybe just a couple of, so instead of the white, just the gold. I'm happy with that, I like that. And again, just think that was a clean-up piece. And these just look like hills in the background. So, let's get our journal, which again is on the floor. And let's just have a look. How are we doing? Can you see? I'm thinking that is going to look fabulous there. So, and I'm glad we did that round the edge. Just needs a little bit of that stencil work. So if we work on this side first. Now, I've had a really good look through my stencils. And I'm going to use one I haven't used before because it's important I don't use the same one. Again, I'm trying not to have favourites, although you know I do. So I'm thinking this elegance will look lovely because I want it to look like it's almost creeping up the card design in my journal. So I'm just going to hold it. And remember, this is where the brush hole has come through from the other side, and I want it to look like this is actually part of the design. This is how I planned it. So if I add that there, now we've got the corner here. So we'll come in and add some just up here. So then when we come in with this, we're going to put that there. Yes, I'm happy with that. And then move to this side and we'll do the same. We'll go for this corner first. And we'll add some right up this side. And it's just random, I don't want it to be perfect. Some along the bottom. Mindful not to go over this edge, look. If you get a straight line, we'll just pop that there and go over that. So again, along the bottom and then right up this side. I just want a little bit more at the top. So I'm just going to add one more here. Almost to frame that. And maybe just a deeper one at the top here. Yeah. Now, we don't want to waste this, do we? So let's choose. Again, we'll just see if we've got anything, just clean it up. We may not get much, but anything we get, again, will be a starting point for another day. Let's lift that up. Oh, yeah, we've definitely got some. See if we've got any more for this side. And then when that dries, and I'm going to close it, I'm not worried if the two go together. Right, so this is going on here, and I'm happy with that. So, just going to use a piece of tape, and then my BB glue, and we can add this to our journal. Now, as always with this glue, I just use my finger just to bring it right to the edges. And it dries clear. Now I'm going to have to stand up to do this just because I want to make sure exactly. I think I'm going for the middle with this. And I'm going to come in with my kitchen towel, just because, again, just in case I've got any ink, which I have on my hands, look. And then if we move this over, this is ready to add to this side. So again, belt and braces, I like to use my tape and my glue. Now, add that, and then again just use my finger to bring it right to the edge, because I do want those edges to stick down. And let's pop that there, and again in with my kitchen towel and give it a good press. We just need a tiny bit more in that corner. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit underneath. There we go. I keep saying it, but from a scrap piece of paper. And what's nice is that page is quite blue, but to balance it, we've got the white on this. Last little thing I'm thinking I've actually stamped my dragon verse out again, and I've just cut the first two lines. Dragon beasts soaring high, beating wings through the sky. And I'm thinking, and also look, if we look, it breaks up the design. And I think those just added finishes that off. But I want to add some white Posca splats. So I'll do that before putting my little sentiments on. So it's just a matter of getting my white Posca, giving it a good shake. Now I have to say I used this the other day and the nib flew out. So I'm warning you now, if it happens. Now I'm tapping it first because I want some small Posca splats, especially around here, look. They'll show up really well. And then I want to see if I can get a few larger. And I could cover my dragons up if I wanted, but there's no need. I think I can work out how to miss them. There we go, and that's enough. So if I get my glue and then just add my little sentiments. It's a lovely way of making little sentiment strips, this. Just stamping the whole design out and then just cutting little bits of it. You don't need to have the whole. And it's nice because obviously I have actually on this occasion got the whole of the verse on the opposite page. I think if we just catch that there, that looks nice. So just catching into there. And then the very last thing, I've actually stamped this beautiful, is it witch's hat? You know, I should look all these names up before I do this. But I get so carried away, I want to come in and play. I'll add it in the descriptions box. And I've painted this and cut it out ready just for a decoupage element. And I'm, right, do I want it there? Oh, I quite like it. What do you think? I don't like it there. I quite like it there, actually. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. Now, again, you could add 3D glue gel. You could. I'm just going to put it quite flat. Just because I think it goes so well with this design. I've stamped a few of these out and coloured them in, just because this time of year I'm thinking I'm going to use this quite a lot. And I think that just breaks up the design there. And I just like to add a few decoupage little elements if I can. Just think it needs some black. You'll do this, won't you? We just go, we'll just add. We've finished, but we'll just add. So I'm just getting my pastel pencils from where I filed them on the floor. I just want to add a bit of shade under this. Just see if I can get my finger in before it dries. Just to ground it. There we go. That's better. Just pops more like that. Right, put them back on the floor. If I move my ink pads out of the way, definitely getting less space to craft on. And there's the pages. I say it's not very easy to show you the double page, I'm afraid, but so that's that page. And then there's the other page. So I'm hoping you've enjoyed that. I'm hoping if you've made the gel press backgrounds from last week, you've stamped them up while we've been here together. You know, even if you've used different stamps. And I'm going to leave that there with you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. It is such a pleasure and such a privilege to be in your company. You take care. I'll pop along tomorrow with a little technique for you. So you take care, everybody. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.